today, in concert with, of course, the Goosen family of North Hollywood, who manage him, train him, and promote him. Nunn with 33 wins, 23 of them by knockout. Barkley is regarded as the slugger, but Nunn actually has a higher knockout percentage.
Well, that's a function of who you fought and how you knocked them out. And we talked about lucky punches earlier. Some people say that his knockout of Calumby was a once-in-a-lifetime lucky punch.
And right now we look at the tail of the tape, and you'll see the height and reach advantages that Nunn will enjoy against virtually every middleweight he ever enters the ring with. The height listed at 6'1". You stand next to him, and he actually appears to present a bigger picture than that. He looks more like 6'2" with the long arms. Barkley barely made weight this morning. At first was a quarter pound over, had to strip down all the way to come in at 160 pounds.
And here are punch stat numbers indicating how active these fighters are. And as you can see here, they're roughly equivalent in the numbers of punches they throw. Nunn lands a slightly higher percentage. And the jabs, what is surprising here is how many jabs Barkley throws, and that's a key for him to get in close to Nunn by using his jab rather than by winging wild punches.
Rules for tonight's fight, a combination of the IBF rules and those of the state of Nevada. 3 judges scoring the fight on the 10-point must. No standing 8 counts. No 3 knockdown rule. You can be saved by the bell in the last round only. That's a Nevada rule. Now we go up to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the pre-fight introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Lauer Event Center here in Reno, Nevada, where tonight, Top Rank Incorporated and the King of Beers, Budweiser, presents World Championship Boxing. This bout is sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. The chairman is Dr. Elias Ghanem. Commissioners, Jay Nady, Dwayne Ford, Freddie Little, and Dr. James Nave. Executive Director, Chuck Meeker. Physicians at ringside, Dr. James McLennan, Dr. Flip Homansky, and Dr. John Wickman. The timekeepers for this bout are John Rogers and Jim Carpenter. This bout is governed by the rules and regulations of the International Boxing Federation, President Robert W. Lee, and Supervisor at ringside, Al Goodman. The 3 judges doing the scoring for this bout will be Art Laurie, Keith McDonald, and Glenn Hamada. And the referee for this contest, a native of the Philippines working in a world championship bout for the 69th time, is Carlos Padilla. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada, let's get ready to rumble. 12 rounds for the IBF Middleweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He's wearing the red trunks with black trim and weighs an even 160 pounds. He's from the streets of South Bronx in New York City. As a professional, 25 victories, 16 by KO against only 5 defeats. Ladies and gentlemen, the former WBC middleweight champion of the world, ranked number 1, Iran, the Blade, Barkley. And fighting out of the red corner, he's wearing the white trunks with yellow and blue trim and weighs an even 159 pounds. Originally from Davenport, Iowa, but now fighting out of North Hollywood, California. His professional record, a perfect one, 33-0, 23 by KO. Ladies and gentlemen, the undefeated IBF middleweight champion of the world, Michael, second to none.
Okay, Iran, Michael, you were already giving instructions in the respective dressing room. Are there any questions? No questions. Seconds come out fighting. Seconds come out fighting.
Let's keep in mind, Jim, that although Nunn is a big favorite, if this fight were in the street, Barkley would be just as big a favorite, so he wants to make a street fight of it. Let's also keep in mind that he was cut badly by Tommy Hearns, and although he did have surgery to remove the scar tissue, there remains a question of whether he could cut again.
And he bled from the lip against Duran, and already the men in Barkley's corner have put some salve inside his mouth, and Carlos Padilla makes him wipe some of it off. The questions regarding Nunn, Which style will he present here? Will it be the dancing, swatting exhibition which ultimately frustrated and eliminated Frank Tate? Will it be the stand-up knockout power he showed against Columbay, or some combination of the two? For the moment, he is showing movement and lots of it.
He's showing the lateral movement that I said he needed earlier, but he should keep his hands high because he really doesn't know how hard Barkley punches. And here we see the exchange of punches, but Nunn is so confident with this radar-like senses that he's able to stand there and stick those punches.
Maybe too confident, though. I don't think there are many who believe that Nunn should stand against the ropes and let Barkley come at it.
Barkley's punches are so telegraphed, and it's going to be tough to land because of the movement, upper body movement of Michael Nunn. But again, I would stress that Nunn has to keep those hands up because of the power of Iran Barkley.
Padilla cautioning both fighters against holding and hitting, which they were doing at will there for a moment. Nunn with some showboating already. He has laughed at Barkley, and with the hands held down to the side, is dodging punches with the head only.
Michael Nunn can make this fight so easy by just jabbing. See, the key here is just to box him. Keep those hands high and use lateral movement side to side.
Good left hook inside by Nunn. Barkley stops punching for a second, and Nunn throws.
What's Michael doing? Mike's trying to show people that he is a puncher too, and I think that's why he selected to stand inside. Now he's hurting Barkley with those shots too.
Indeed, at moments he's getting the best of it. He said he could land the uppercut at will, and so far he's been able to do exactly that inside. Barkley is landing too, but Nunn continues to smile at him.
This is like a sparring session for Michael Nunn because here, I mean, he's just doing what he wants to do.
And he's doing damage with the left. Barkley's still coming, but Nunn has landed 3 solid shots in a row.
And we saw what happened there. That rocked his bell for a second there. Mike needs to keep his hands up.
Using questionable strategy, Nunn is making this look easy. Barkley's punches have begun to lose some steam already.
Well, he's always dangerous, and that's what Tommy Hearns thought.
Another uppercut. Barkley's bleeding from the mouth and the nose. This is a supremely confident Michael Nunn. Whether it'll pay off, we may soon see.
That's good round.
And as the first round comes to a close, Nunn stares at Barkley, smiles, and laughs at him a bit.
That was Nunn's round, but I don't get the point of him getting into a slugging match this early in the fight.
Good, all right. He's smiling, but he's hurting. You're loading too fast. Now, settle down and place your punches to the outside and then work to the inside. Hear what I said now? Yes. Place your punches. Work to the inside and the outside. And double up. What the heck going in? Leave that head down. Don't that head not stationary. Okay? It's not a stationary target. When you hit him over the outside, bring that left uppercut.
Okay, here is Michael Nunn standing in there, connecting with some good left hands. But why is he in there? Why isn't he using his quickness? And of course, he's in Barkley's punching range. But as you said, Jim, that's the expression of a supremely confident young fighter.
Still, I agree with you, Larry. It's questionable strategy. If he makes it work, yet another feather in his cap.
Well, the confidence level of Michael Nunn is growing increasingly as he has better and better performances.
He comes into this fight on an awesome string of 5 straight knockouts. Easy victories over Tate and Roldan. 1 round with Columbay. He almost slipped down there, and it could have been scored a knockdown with Barkley putting pressure on.
Barkley's keeping those hands up because that first round, Michael Nunn threw a barrage of punches, good punches, which landed. Now the body attack I see Barkley doing, that's a very good tactic here. Trying to slow down the movement, the upper body movement. And because Barkley hits so hard, you may see a change if the fight goes on.
Well, already Nunn is making himself a little bit scarcer than was the case throughout round one. Barkley landed to the shoulder. Nunn had landed a short right inside.
The punch that would probably get in against Michael Nunn's left hook and the right uppercut, because watch Nunn, as he throws a punch, he dips to his left. Let go.
And drops the right hand sometimes.
And
Barkley's best punch is the left hook.
It's a very powerful left hook, although again it's telegraphed, but it gets the job done.
Particularly to the body. He really hurt Duran early with body shots off the left hook.
Mike is trying to wait for Barkley to punch himself out. And once Barkley starts throwing punches, you know Michael Nunn retaliates. Barkley is totally off balance, and the uppercut will do damage, a lot of damage, especially to the lip area.
Well, Nunn is continually trying to set up the uppercut, Ray, and that's one thing that counts for his staying inside at close range like this. He has a tremendous amount of confidence in that punch right there. Great, straight, short left. But Barkley keeps coming.
Mike's just peppering Barkley, just picking his shots, but he better keep that right hand up.
You're inside, and you're not hitting him out here.
Right.
Now you bring the punch on the outside and bring him out here. Understand?
I think we'll go to order, Aaron. Split to your right. Split to your right. Split to your right. Get the bucket there.
Couple deep breaths. All right, now you're starting to really slip now and counter. That's what I want you to keep doing. Walking around him. As he moves in, you move to the side. Keep the jab out. Mike, keep the jab on. Just keep doing what comes naturally to you. Because you're doing it. Okay, here we go. Gargle that little bit.
Go throw yourself out of position. And hook real hard. Okay.
This is a fight between a Rusty Nail from the Bronx and a Straight Arrow from Iowa. So far, the Rusty Nail is doing okay. But, Ray, it appears to me that he's doing what you did against Duran the first time. He's letting his ego get involved. He wants to prove how tough he is. He's not using what he can do best. Well, that's a mistake I made against Duran, Larry. And Barkley, I mean, with Michael Nunn, he's so confident here. And he is scoring, but a lot of times he subjects himself to be punched and countered.
Gentlemen, some phenomenal punch stat statistics through the first two rounds. Barkley has thrown 179 punches by our punch stat computation and landed 20% of them. Nunn has thrown 140 punches and landed 60% of them in the first two rounds.
Let me show you what's about to happen here, because I see Michael Nunn is just setting this man up. Watch him throw his jab, and he's going to come up with that straight and looping, well, actually a looping left hand.
Coming over the top.
Yes, he'll set his man up with the jab while he's moving. Inside, it's a different story.
That's it, Iran. Good, Iran. Good. Good, Iran. Keep on him up. Keep there. Keep right there. Good, Iran. Keep there.
Now, this is very dangerous for a fighter. Because although Michael's throwing punches, these are slap punches now, not really powerful punches here. Michael's best shot is on the outside. That's his leverage there. This is when Barkley has a chance.
Both men landing at close range, as was the case in round number one. Another mark of Nunn's extraordinary confidence. He knows as well as anybody that he's not supposed to stand in the clinches and trade toe-to-toe with Iran Barkley.
Those punches that Barkley are landing on the arms of Michael Nunn will slow him down too. Will bring those arms down. It depends on whether or not Barkley becomes arm weary. This becomes conditioning. Now look how easy it is for Mike to just box, lateral movement, and keep Barkley off balance.
Allowing Barkley to come to him, countering, and swatting away with the jab. And still holding his own inside when they fight toe-to-toe.
Barkley needs to stay to the body because when the man moves his head, that's one thing, but he can't move that body.
Round 3 coming to a close. Nunn has slowed down a bit from the first 2 rounds, but still seems in control of the fight if nothing goes wrong as a result of the style that he's chosen.
Right here. Let me have the towel in the bucket in the middle. Okay, good. Good. Stick your legs out. All right, you're doing a good job on the inside, Mike, but I need a little bit more snap on those punches. Don't let them drift so low. I need you to hit that
Harold
shoulder
Letterman,
punch, okay?
our unofficial official. How have you scored the fight so far?
Larry, I've got a 2-1 in favor of Michael Nunn. I give the 3rd round to Iran Barkley because I thought Michael Nunn stood inside and let Iran Barkley get to him with the short body shots. But to mention something, I just don't think Michael Nunn is snapping that right jab enough. I think you should get some more snapping that right jab and keep Iran Barkley on the outside.
I'm doing. Good. So one more time. Good. He's getting tired. He's getting tired, Iran. Stay on his fucking chest. Okay. You got this, brother. You got him. Stay on his breast, Iran. Come on, Iran.
For what it's worth, I have the fight scored 1 round apiece and 1 round, the last one even.
Look how the crowd has changed. All of a sudden now they're rooting for Barkley because Barkley is the underdog.
Well, you've got to love Iran Barkley's courage. As Larry pointed out before the fight, he is a guy who gives you everything he's got every time he's in the ring.
There is a cut apparently on Barkley's left eye someplace. I don't know if it's bad, but I see blood around the left eye.
Yeah, that's been there since round number 1. And he had eye surgery to attempt to limit the cutting after the Hearns fight.
Good shot there, landed by Barkley. It was a good right hand.
That surgery certainly wasn't to improve his looks.
Barkley needs to stop holding back and let those punches go because when Nunn is against the ropes, that's his opportunity to throw body shots.
Indeed, Nunn is giving him opportunity after opportunity to come at him against the ropes. Nunn just missed with a roundhouse left.
If I was in the corner of Michael Nunn, it would scare me because the way he's moving and dropping those hands.
Well, you heard Joe Goosen briefly asking him between rounds to hold his hands higher, particularly when he fights inside.
And the way Barkley's pushing the fight, he's making the fight. But I'll continue to tell him to stay to the body and keep pressure. Make him fight. Just make him fight. But he also, Barkley has to cut the ring off. He can't follow his man around. Oh, this is going to happen. The jabbing, the jabbing, the jabbing.
A minute to go in round 4, and the crowd chanting, Barkley, Barkley, Barkley. This is a bit of an unusual crowd. Some of them booed Ray Leonard before the fight.
I didn't hear that.
Oh, you didn't?
This is an interesting fight right now because of the style that Nunn selected to choose.
been a pretty round.
It's been the least active of the 4 rounds.
Mike is really starting to just snap with his jab now.
And his punching accuracy has fallen way off. He's no longer landing something like 60% of his punches.
I gave that round to Barkley on sheer hustle. Before this fight, Nunn said that Barkley had the IQ of an onion, but I think we have to question Nunn's IQ as a fighter here in the way he's fighting this fight.
Don't hesitate. Throw that right hand out there and bang with it. Understand? Yeah. And put them together.
Back him up, Irene. Back
How
him
we
up.
doing? Very good, Irene. You're on his ass. He knows you're on his ass, but keep the pressure all the time. ABC. ABC, Iran. Always.
Every opportunity inside, Nunn. Just keep wrapping that belly. Keep sights him. I want you countering a little bit more when you make a miss, because you are making a miss by wide margins. You got to drop a few more counters on him. Keep him what comes natural. Keep doing what comes natural to you. Okay?
Deep breath.
There you go. Couple more. Mouthpiece. Let me have it.
Joe, why don't
You saw the punch stat number indicating that Nunn landed only 24% of his punches in round number 4. So it's a different fight now as we move to the middle rounds.
I like Michael Nunn's corner. Very, very professional. No yelling. But at one point, Nunn has to go to work and do what he does best and stop changing punch like inside here. Because he's giving Barkley a better chance of landing a punch. You know, it's outside when Michael Nunn is boxing, it's night and day.
But as a natural counterpuncher, it's hard for him to be the aggressor from outside.
See, Barkley keep holding the punch back. The right hand, he should let it go. Why is he holding it? While he holds it, because of the hand speed of Nunn, Nunn is able to counter.
So the more a man is able to counterpunch against you, the less willing you become to release your hands and be aggressive.
Yes, it is. And here, this is Barkley's fight. Those bodies, I love those body shots. Good shot by Michael Nunn, but you need both hands.
Two good right hands from Barkley. He's begun to assert a little more dominance inside.
Barkley's pushing the fight, he's making the fight. It's just a matter if he can keep this up, if he can maintain this kind of pace. Now I see what's happening. Barkley's inadvertently, as he steps in, he steps on the right foot of Michael Nunn. A lot of guys have used this trick in the past, and even now.
Good short left by Nunn. Barkley keeps coming.
Slap.
Another counter left by Nunn.
It's a slap. Makes a lot of noise. That shot there kind of rocked Mike. The crowd is in such anticipation of one of those big punches landing. Because when Barkley swings and misses like he has been, you feel the wind of the punch. He should let go now.
So far, Barkley's corner has been able to control the swelling of the left eye, which has given him trouble in several previous fights. And he looks increasingly comfortable as the bout progresses.
Yeah. That's it. Got the mouthpiece?
Yeah, I got it.
See, that's what I wanted. So you were countering a lot sharper off the ropes there. You gave him the first minute and a half to shoot some steam, right? Then you took it to him. Nice.
Okay.
Couple deep breaths.
Keep breath. Relax.
That's it.
Work down. Work down. All right.
None. Getting busted up bad, okay? Keep up it.
That's it.
All right.
Drink it, Iran.
Hear what I said now?
Good. Good.
Yeah. Bang him under that armpit when you stick your arm out there. Bang him right up under it.
Okay.
Poison blade.
Shorten up, Iran. You're working great, Iran. Great. You're backing him up. You're keeping the pressure. Eddie, clean up that eye.
I thought Nunn found a better rhythm for himself in that last round and is fighting more of his fight than Barkley's fight now.
You see the calmness in the corner of Michael Nunn. For a long time, one of the questions about him, and it still lingers to a large degree, is what kind of trainer is Joe Goosen with a quality fighter on his hands? So far, 33-0.
What gets Michael Nunn out of trouble is those beautiful legs. He has very good legs. He knows where he is at all times. This fight here will bring out a lot of Michael Nunn because apparently Barkley is not easy to get out of there. You really have to nail Barkley because Barkley has such a durable chin. And with Michael Nunn, he's going to have to use every single weapon to be effective here against Barkley.
Well, Nunn was tested earlier in his career, extended to 10 rounds several times by lesser fighters.
Both guys are taunting each other. Michael wanted Barkley to come in. Barkley wanted Nunn to come to the center ring. And now they both agreed to meet against the ropes.
Well, as Larry pointed out, Nunn is increasingly content to let Barkley come to him and counter. Carlos Padilla again cautioning about holding and hitting. And there it is. The booing begins as Nunn continues to dance. This particular style is not as entertaining as what he did in rounds 1 and 2. Left hand was blocked.
Every time that Barkley comes in, his chin is down, and he accommodates the uppercut of Michael Nunn.
Barkley grinning at Nunn as Nunn's punches are not powerful. But on the other hand, Barkley's face is starting to get a bit misshapen. You saw between rounds he was bleeding from the eye and the lip.
Michael needs to forget about the crowd because they boo him when he boxes because they feel he's running. But the way he moves makes the fight easier for him. The key is winning.
Okay, bring it up. Step up.
Well, of course, some would say at this level of the sport, Ray, there is more to it than that. Well, he's got to do something to get into your league as a market attraction, to get those multi-million-dollar bouts.
I'll talk to him after this fight.
This comes under the heading of you can't turn a leopard into a tiger. He's a leopard, not a tiger, and that's how Nunn has to fight.
Good, baby. I want on him. Stay there. When he leans back on the ropes, don't swing at him at the head. Here, go to the body. Don't swing at the head. Go to the body.
Here's the bucket.
He's moving that head.
That's right. Drink it, Iran. That's
Now,
right.
he's moving that head. He can't move that body. Understand? He can't move that body.
Harold Letterman, give us your scorecard now.
Larry, 4 rounds to 2 in favor of Michael Nunn. Remember the 4 points in which we score: clean punching, effective aggressiveness, ring generalship, and defense. Iran Barkley is the aggressor, but he's not effective. He's moving in, and he's not landing the real good shots.
Here we go.
I have it 3-2-1 for Nunn.
But in both instances, that means that he gave the last 2 rounds to Michael Nunn. So the style is seen as effective, if not by the crowd as entertaining. Round 7 begins with more of the same.
those shots again to the body. Whenever Mike gets to the whenever he gets against the rope, work that body.
Barkley believes that Nunn has never been adequately tested to the body. He vowed to do it, and more he's being able to do it.
Barkley has to let that right hand go like he did there. But he has to let it go more often now and stop holding it back. It's as though he's second-guessing himself.
He's going to give Nunn chances to counter with the left if he does it, but Nunn's punches are not nearly as hard as was the case in the first 3 rounds. He has turned to slapping and swatting, as was the case against Frank Tate.
Michael Nunn has the perfect physical attributes for a fight. He's tall, 6'1", 6'2". He's a southpaw, quick hands, quick feet. And when he uses all those attributes to his fullest, he'll be a tough guy to beat.
Is he strong enough?
Well, he's proven, man. I mean, whatever they call a lucky punch, I don't know what the lucky punch is. I mean, but the key is showing art form, being tactical in the ring, being economical.
Barkley releasing the right hand more.
You can never really count Barkley out because sometimes he looks as though he's tired, or he's desperate, but always he's dangerous.
Well, he was being badly beaten by Hearns before he launched the haymaker that put Tommy on his back for the count.
Now, this has happened more than on one occasion. As Michael throws a punch and he steps away, Barkley reaches in, and he's totally vulnerable for any shot, for a counter shot.
Crowd again responding to Barkley's grit as opposed to Nunn's glitz.
What Barkley could do is, in the last 30 seconds of this round, is pour it on. And he'll gain some sentiments from the crowd.
As Duran was able to do in several rounds against him. Nunn pecking away with the jab from outside. 7 rounds in the books.
If Nunn's goal was to look impressive or sensational in this fight, that goal appears to be outside of his reach right now. He just has to fight to win.
All right, that's a must now. We got this is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, Mike, okay? Start countering a little bit more. You got to start making him pay, because if you let him get on track and get rolling, okay, he's going to build up some steam. You got to stop him in his tracks.
Deep breath.
Don't mean that I want you to get any brawl, but I want you to start countering more. Look, he's throwing that hook. I want you to come up with that uppercut. I want you to use your jab more. I want you to start countering more, okay?
Deep breath. Hold down.
Hey, Barkley, 8th round. Put my swelling down, man. The swelling?
Very quickly now, we're going to take a look at Barkley's face as of this moment,
You can do it.
and the way he looked before the fight. And of course, you see the grease and the swelling above the left eye. Earlier, you've seen blood coming from the mouth. It's not at all unusual for Iran to get a little busted up in a fight, and he's won a lot of fights looking like this.
He looks like what he is, and so does Nunn.
Well said. Round 8. And you heard Nunn's corner asking for more aggression, more countering.
Well, they don't want Barkley to build up any momentum, and that's what's going to happen if Nunn continues to fight the way he's been fighting. If he allows Barkley to get some decent shots in there.
Barkley sparred against southpaws, a cavalcade of them, to get himself ready for this. His only knockout loss was to southpaw Robbie Sims, and it's always a problem, even for the most experienced fighters, to adjust to having to fight against somebody with a southpaw style.
Well, I would attest to that, too, because it's difficult, because he does everything backwards, actually, a southpaw. And what happens is tough to maintain your balance if you don't keep your left foot outside his right foot. But the left hook is the key with the southpaw. It's a good left hook.
The more Michael Nunn does this, the more opportunities he gives to Iran Barkley to hammer away at his ribcage.
Well, that will be a deciding factor later on. You'll see a change in Michael Nunn's movement. But also, Michael's just peppering away at Barkley. He's really doing a great job of busting him up top.
The first of those left hands landed solidly.
These punches that Michael's throwing, I mean, it's not really knockout punch, but what's happening, he's really increasing the swelling around the eyes of Iran Barkley. Michael has his hands down to his side. Barkley wants to do something to try a desperation right hand.
Good short right by Nunn against the left eye of Barkley. Nunn's punching accuracy still a factor in the bout.
Only one man could really box like Nunn as far as moving his head back. It was Ali. Keep those hands down, speed of hands, speed of feet, a foot.
Well, Nunn's only one of a million fighters to have tried to emulate Ali's style, but he was born with more of the natural gifts to do it than just about anyone else.
He's wearing down. Seems like Barkley's wearing down, but again, he's still dangerous.
Barkley landed a very good right hand in there, fellas. And give credit to Nunn, he has taken some good punches in this fight.
Let's go right hand. Think with the left jab and the right hand, and with the hook right behind it.
Good, Iran. Good. Good, Iran.
Okay, what I said?
Keep it up, Iran. Drink some of that water. Yeah, drink some more, Iran. Back them up, Iran. Stay busy. Shorten up. Shorten up on those punches, Iran. Shorten up.
Right. Clean that up.
I got it.
Barkley is behind in this fight, but prize fighting is a game in which you can be behind and hit a 5-run home run late in the fight. And that's what he hopes to do.
He threw 105 punches in round 8, which goes to underline the point that there's no quit in Iran Barkley. And his accuracy went up as he landed 36% of them by punch stat computation in the 8th round.
Barkley has been able to continue this fight because of his determination's heart, but most importantly because of an excellent cutman, Eddie Aliano.
Eddie Aliano is as good at closing cuts as anyone in the business. And if you're Iran Barkley, you want to have an Eddie Aliano in your corner.
Well, he has the best, Jim. But now it's up to him to make the difference in the fight. Again, you hear the crowd dissatisfaction as far as Michael Nunn's movement. Michael's jab is almost like a measuring stick because he sets you up with his left hand. He sticks that long jab out there, lays on your head, and then comes across with that left hand.
About the only fighter in the weight class against whom Nunn would not have a reach advantage is Thomas Hearns.
That's true.
And that is one of the potential bouts which is speculated upon.
This is what I talked about in the tip of the night, Jim, the fact that on the outside, Barkley will make it very difficult for him because Michael Nunn has great hand speed, good movement, and throws a lot of punches. Barkley's best shot is keep pushing that jab, especially to the body. Jab to the chest, get inside, and work his body. You see the difference it makes when he throws his jab and gets inside?
And you can see that Iran is lunging a little bit harder and trying more now for that big right hand that might turn things around.
Michael's trying to throw the uppercut.
Not as much as he was trying to throw it in the first 3 rounds. Nunn's not going to sell a lot of tickets or win a lot of friends fighting the way he's fought these past 3 rounds. But he does make it increasingly difficult for Barkley to hit that 5-run home run that Larry Merchant talked about. There's the uppercut, just missed. Good short left inside by Nunn.
Nunn is trying to steal rounds now. He didn't fight for 2.5 minutes, fought for the last half minute. After our last 2 fights, both 1-round knockouts, this one seems like it's gone on for about 43 rounds.
A throwback.
You can do that all night. You don't have to wait for him to shoot off some steam now, man. The guy is dog.
Harold, give us your score now.
6 rounds to 3, 87-84 in favor of Michael Nunn. I believe that Michael Nunn is still landing the cleaner, harder shots, while Iran Barkley is the aggressor, but he's not the effective aggressor. When he moves in, he just doesn't throw enough punches. He just doesn't let his arms go enough.
Let's go. Start moving right now.
All right, Harold, I have it. Nunn ahead, 4 rounds to 3 and 2 even.
Well, that's not a big margin. If some of the judges emulate your scorecard, Larry, there's still a chance that Barkley could come on and steal a decision here with some aggression in the last 3 rounds.
The way I see this, as far as Michael Nunn's career, he has some very impressive wins. He's almost like Mike Tyson. He's become such an overwhelming favorite. If he doesn't knock you out early, you become in a no-win situation.
Part of the problem for Iran Barkley is marketing image. He told us he was quite aware when he fought Duran that if Duran was still standing in the 12th round, he wasn't going to win a decision. He strongly believes the same is true here.
Well, he better go to work if he really believes that, and that's not always the case.
Barkley's left eye is so swollen it looks like a headlight on an old MG. Almost looks like Ray Leonard against Thomas Hearns in 1981.
I don't agree with that. This is a good fight for Barkley. He's really put up a great fight.
You don't agree with what?
Now, the hook should come upstairs now with Barkley. A short hook. As you work the body, you notice the man's hand will drop. Like now. Like now. This is it. Perfect.
Nunn is talking the referee Carlos Padilla while Barkley slugs away at his ribcage.
Now watch Nunn retaliate. Nunn lets his man throw a few punches, then all of a sudden he'll steal the round by flirting. He's talking to his corner, which is dangerous. And when Michael's combination, she comes straight up, so he needs to be careful about that too. Watch when he comes
landed an uppercut solidly, and another one, but they aren't enough to hurt Iran Barkley. But less than a minute to go, and here comes the Nunn flurry as he tries to steal the round. Staggered momentarily. Barkley tries to follow up.
Okay, break it up. Break it up. Come out there. One step to your
That's it. You got it. You're getting him. He's hurt. You hurt him twice in that round. There, dig it. Dig it, Iran. Keep up that pressure. And don't load up so much, Iran. The people behind you.
Oh, you look awesome, Nunn.
Okay, here we go. Go.
There you go. Take a couple deep breaths right now. Remember,
Go, tell off string here. Tell off string, somebody. Go, tell off.
How can you not love a warrior like Iran Barkley?
Did that round bring the fight to even on your scorecard, Larry?
Yes, it did.
We've got an interesting situation going into rounds 11 and 12, the championship rounds.
But I caution that some of these rounds are hard to judge, and because the cleaner punchers from outside are usually landed by Nunn, he may get more credit for those punches.
Iran Barkley has been past the 10th round 3 previous times. Michael Nunn has been past the 10th round twice, and down goes Nunn, and it'll be ruled a slip. Will not be called a knockdown. Crowd loved it anyway.
Barkley stepped on his front foot. When you have a right-hander facing a southpaw, sometimes that happens.
And as both fighters get increasingly tired, their feet are more and more likely to get tangled.
Barkley should be using his jab, too, to match the jab of Michael Nunn.
There Barkley tried a jab, now trying to come over with the right hand.
You know, I see sometimes Michael has a tendency to put both feet together. And it's easy to be knocked off balance or either knocked down. That's when you get too careless or too comfortable with the fight.
Okay, back it up. Step up.
In recent rounds, Barkley has been so much the busier fighter that coming into this 11th round, he was averaging 82 punches a round, to only 59 a round for Nunn. Increasingly, you get the notion that Nunn must be busier to avoid putting himself in a very precarious situation. Great left hook by Barkley, excuse me. Nunn momentarily staggered by the left hook.
If you watch Barkley, when he throws his jab, if he really throws it straight and snap it, he'll connect.
Trying again with the left hook.
But he seems to be afraid of that left hook coming over the jab, Ray.
He's afraid of the speed of Michael Nunn's punches. But he has a gamble. He is a gambler, too.
Well, he might as well. What's he got to lose? A 7-1 underdog coming into the fight.
Probably one of the few rounds you let him get even. You know what I mean? All right, take a deep breath. I got you comfortably ahead, but...
Okay, last one.
We know that. I got you comfortably ahead, but I want you to have to lay some leather on this round.
Fight for the whole 3 minutes.
Come on, Iran. Don't listen. The outcourt, we got to do it. The outcourt, this is it, baby. You got him. You got this, brother. You got this, pussy. This is the last round, Iran. Do it foul, If you don't do it,
No, I need sharpness. I need power on the left hand. All right, I'm getting the tape. Let me have the tape. Fuck it, here. Let me have the goddamn tape.
Let's go.
Harold, quickly, how do you have it scored?
Larry, 7 rounds to 4, 106, 103. Michael Nunn, I think he's just a little bit too cute for Iran Barkley.
I have him ahead by 1 point.
It is by no means a foregone conclusion.
This reminds me of Rocky movies. I mean, both men have been talking to each other, challenge each other. Michael's doing a lot of talking here. You better close that mouth.
This could be a big moment in the middleweight division if Michael Nunn does not come out on the long end with the scorecard.
He just got hit by a left hook. Michael did. Michael switched now to fighting orthodox.
Nunn yelled before the round, "This will be war." But he has not gone to war with Barkley so far.
Michael needs to pour it on some now.
Who will make a final statement for the judges? Nunn telling Carlos Padilla to get out of the way.
The crowd think that Carlos Padilla is telling Michael Nunn to fight, but he's actually telling him to be quiet, to stop talking.
Why should that be Padilla's concern?
Your guess is as good as mine.
I don't think it's against the rules.
This is when it gets to whoever lands the big punch.
Toe-to-toe down the stretch. Nunn almost lost his balance there. Attention was focused coming into the bout on the question of whether Nunn's performance would be impressive enough to enhance his marketability. What's at stake now is can he win this fight and hold on to his IBF championship.
Well, what's going to happen, you'll see a reaction, a totally different reaction with the crowd. Whether or not they're dissatisfied or what.
And you're going to see both fighters picked up and carried around the ring by their cornermen.
Okay. Let's go.
As was the case at Duran Barkley. No embrace between fighters at first. Now Nunn tries to get to Barkley and is carried away.
I did give the fight to Nunn. Barkley made him fight his best fight instead of Barkley's fight. And when he did that, he was more in control.
And Harold Letterman's final scorecard. Harold, how'd you see it?
Well, Jim, I had it 8-4 in favor of Michael Nunn, 116-112. This was a fight where if you like the aggressor, you may have gone through Iran Barkley, but I just thought it wasn't effective aggressiveness. And we score on clean punching, ring generalship, effective aggressiveness in defense. I thought that Michael Nunn landed the cleaner punches and deserved the decision, but I think that Iran Barkley fought a great fight. He tried his best. He came in on Michael Nunn all night. He put a lot of pressure on Michael Nunn, but unfortunately, I think Michael Nunn landed too many good shots.
Ray, very quickly, what's your instinct on who won the fight?
Well, I thought Michael Nunn boxed perfectly a couple of times, a couple of rounds, but I tell you, in all due respect to Iran Barkley, he put up and made a good fight, a really good fight. But I see Michael Nunn as the victor.
Final punch stat numbers on the bout, and we'll see that Nunn threw nearly 300 fewer punches in the bout than did Barkley. But look at the difference in the rate of accuracy with which they landed. Nunn at 50%, Barkley at 25%. Of course, the crowd does not keep punch stat computations. The crowd doesn't count punches. And right now, let's go up to the ring announcer, Michael Buffer, for the official decision on this 12-round middleweight
Ladies and
championship.
gentlemen, here's the official scoring. Keith McDonald scores the bout 114. He has it even. Glenn Hamada scores it 115-113. And Art Laurie scores it 116-113 for the winner by majority decision. And still IBF middleweight champion of the world, Michael, second to none.
Did you see the worried look on Nunn's face? You never know.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for this great challenger, Iron Barkley, from the South Bronx in New York City.
But he's a welterweight again.